Hey guys, I'm Shonali Thomas, and today we are making my husband's favorite recipe, chicken piccata. And we're putting a little spin on it, and we're gonna make zoodles instead of pasta. Hey guys, today we are making chicken piccata, which is a yummy chicken dish that has a lemon, white wine, some butter, and some garlic sauce. It's one of my husband's most favorite dishes. It's been in both of my cookbooks. So I thought that it was important for me to make that today because he is working from home and he's in his office. So maybe he'll smell it and we'll see. So we're gonna do zoodles today instead of actual noodles. So if you guys know what a zoodle is, it's basically a zucchini that's cut into little noodle-like shapes. We put a little salt on it. It sits in the stove or in the sink for a little bit, and then it turns into noodle-like shapes. So I'm gonna show you guys how to get that going. So we're just gonna cut the ends off of our zucchini, and I have a little mandolin here, and it's actually a big mandolin. This is definitely something that you need to be careful with, and it has very sharp blades and must use a safety guard. I sometimes don't and have had some accidents. So we're gonna take our little, you see this, how it goes down. We wanna make little thin noodles. Leroy knows that we're cutting zucchini here, so he's like, what's happening? All right, so you see this right here cuts how thin our zoodle is gonna be, and then this little blade, these little teeth, show us how skinny it's gonna be, okay? So we're gonna take this, and we start with our zucchini and just go straight down, and check it out. Yeah, all right, so I kind of like to do this without the guard, just for a few. You just go through, get them in there, till it gets down to the point where you think you might cut yourself. And then that's when you use the guard. And you come down like that, and you get in there. And look at this. See that? All right, so we don't need to go any farther because I think we have enough, and then I won't cut myself. So we're gonna take these and we're gonna put these right into a strainer. Leroy. All right, so we're gonna put these into a strainer, and I'm going to put them into the sink. Good boy, my kitchen assistant. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of kosher salt and just sprinkle that over, probably about like a teaspoon or so. And you just wanna give that a little toss, and you'll see, if you can notice how stiff these little noodles kind of are. In about 15, 20 minutes, they're gonna be just like a pasta noodle, okay? So quick wash hands, because we always wash our hands. And I'm gonna show you guys how to make our quick sauce. So we've got a little chicken. Let's get this out of the way. I have 2 chicken breasts that I already trimmed, and I trim so much chicken at the kitchen. We usually cut like 300 to 400 pounds of meat for our freezer dinners, and I could probably do this in my sleep. So all I did was I just trimmed off all of the weird pieces, and I kind of cut it into like a little cutlet. So you could buy them that way, or you could cut them that way. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn our heat on, a medium, since I got chicken on my hands already. Wash that off again, and we're gonna prep while our pan is getting nice and warm. And piccata is a really quick dish. So you wanna have all of your ingredients prepped ahead of time. So we've got garlic, lemon juice, butter, and wine, and some chicken stock. Sometimes I just use wine. All right, so we're gonna do a little clove of garlic. Easiest way is to just give it a little smash. Get that clove off, smash it again, and then give it a little chop. And if you like lots of garlic, then do 2 cloves. If you don't like a lot of garlic, just do 1. Okay, so that's good to go. And you can actually chop it super fine if you want. Okay, so we've got that ready. We have a lemon ready. I've got some chicken bouillon ready, and we're gonna add a little bit of water to that. I've got my capers ready and butter. I'm gonna grab some wine. Now, everybody says that you're supposed to cook with the wine that you're gonna drink. I don't always believe that, because sometimes I have cooked with wine that is expensive and I like it and you can't taste the difference. So sometimes I like to save that expensive wine to drink and instead of cooking with it. So we're gonna do both today though, because this is a good one. It's an inexpensive wine. It's one of my favorites. So we do a little for me and a little for the chicken, okay? All right, so our pan is getting nice and hot. We're gonna put a little avocado oil in here. And then we're gonna get our chicken. Oh, we need to season our chicken. Let's do a little house blend on our chicken, because you must season at all times. You season in layers, because a lot of times people don't think that you're gonna taste that, but you do. All right, so now that I seasoned the first side, I'm gonna season the second side. And you wanna sear this probably at like a medium-high heat and let it get a nice covering, a nice browning on both sides, probably like 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And then we're gonna take it out and we're gonna make our sauce, and then we'll put it back in and let it get all happy with that. Now, a lot of times you can bread your piccata, you can flour it, you can use breadcrumbs, you can do all those things. There's something that's called a skinny piccata. I don't really like to call it a skinny piccata, but I guess this would technically be a skinny piccata. But this is how I always just make it. If you dust it with a little bit of flour, all that's gonna do is that the sauce just sticks on it just a little bit more. But you'll see at the very end, the sauce is gonna stick on it, no problem. So we're just gonna let this get happy in the pan. Something that I have no patience for is waiting for something to sear. So I'm gonna put this down, and we're gonna come over here and we're gonna check on our Zoodles. All right, so these have had a little chance to get happy with the salt. They've been sitting in the sink. And the reason why you wanna put them in the sink is because they're in there to get rid of all that liquid. So the salt is in there to draw all of that water out of there. So it's gonna come out of here. You really probably won't see it. If you put it in a bowl, like on your counter, you would see how much water actually comes out of there. And if you let it sit in there for like an hour, you would see there's a ton of water that comes out of there. So we're just gonna let these, you can see, they're starting to get happy. All of the liquid's starting to come out. The salt is gonna season them, and then you don't even have to do anything. You just put them on your plate and put your piccata next to it. All right, so, oh, you see this? This is not time to turn this. When you're cooking chicken, or really any meat in a pan, you're gonna see that it will tell you when it's ready to be turned. So if you've got enough oil in here, what you wanna do is you wanna get your pan hot, and then you put your oil in, and then you put your meat in. And if you do that ahead of time, you put your oil in before your pan gets hot, your meat is gonna stick. So I waited till it was hot, I put a little oil in there, and then I went to lift the chicken and it wasn't ready to turn. That means it's not ready to turn. You see if it's sticking, and now you see it's not, and you see we got this nice color. So we wanna turn that, and this side, we're gonna give that just a minute. And that's hot. So, even though I don't have a lot of feeling in my fingertips, we're gonna use, so we're gonna give that a little, now it's ready to turn. And then you wanna give this probably like another, I don't know, 3 to 4 minutes sear time. Leave it alone, do its thing, put your stuff away, have a glass, not a glass, a sip of wine, or a glass. And then once that is done, 3 minutes later, we take it out and you let it sit on the pan. All right, now it's the fastest sauce on the planet. So we're gonna lower that down by a lot. We're gonna add some butter, because we love butter. Ooh. All right, we're gonna put a little butter in there. Listen to that sizzle. And then we're gonna take our garlic that we chopped, and we want to just lightly saute that. You don't wanna burn your garlic, and know that if your pan was already hot, that you need to turn that heat down and let it cool off just a touch. And you'll see this only takes a hot second, okay? And you wanna see, you're gonna get all these nice little brown bits, and we're gonna take our lemon, put your hand underneath it, and squeeze. Yeah. And you'll see why I just put my hand underneath there. It's because I got all of the seeds out of there. Nobody wants to eat those. All right, so we've got that in there, and now we need to deglaze our pan. Deglazing. Okay, we're gonna deglaze that with a little wine. I definitely use a little more wine than I do stock, and you could definitely do the opposite if you wanted to, if you're not a wine drinker, but I will tell you that the alcohol all cooks out of this, and all wine does is just adds a delicious flavor to it. So you'll see our sauce is getting a nice brown color to it. I'm going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon to it. And this is pretty much the same thing as doing a concentrated chicken stock. So I just like this so much better because you know what you're getting. It's organic, it's gluten-free. It's just, it has so much more flavor. And these bouillon pastes that you can buy, you could put them in anything like soups, sauces, pretty much anything. And they just make amazing sauces. So we've got that. We're gonna put a little bit of water in there, about a half a cup. I pretty much do like a half a cup of wine to a half a cup of chicken stock. So if you did the bouillon, you would do about a half a cup of water in there. And then you let that get happy and you put your chicken back in. And you want to get all the juices in there. Okay. Bring that back up to a heat. Get all the rest of that yummy bouillon out of there. Okay. We're going to put some capers in. So if you guys know what capers are, they are little yummy berries that I'm going to show you. Oh, if they'll come out of the jar. So they're little green berries that are salty and they're pickly, and they just give such a nice, tasty, savory flavor to this piccata. And at this point, you could leave it just like this, let it cook down, and just like until your chicken's fully cooked, which is at 165 internal temp. You could just put your little thermometer in there and make sure that it was cooked. If you want to keep this cooking the way with the clear broth like that, that's totally fine. If you want to take it a step further, we can make a little slurry, and you can do just a little, about a tablespoon of butter. And you can either do cornstarch if you're trying to go gluten-free. You can do flour. Either one is fine. Either way, it's gonna thicken your sauce up, and all you do is you add it in a little bowl. It makes a little bit of a mess. Do it over your stove, or if you have a dog that likes cornstarch, he comes around and cleans it up. So you'll see it all comes together in kind of a paste. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna dissolve, the butter's gonna help it dissolve into that stock of this little sauce. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna thicken up. So we're just gonna scoop it all onto our spoon. We're gonna scooch the chicken over, and we're gonna use a little whisk because that will help to break it up. And once it gets in there, you'll see it's gonna break up and it's gonna melt. It's gonna get happy, and your sauce is gonna get nice and thick and delicious. Our chicken is still cooking. And cooking time all depends on how thick your chicken breasts actually are. So we did little cutlets here. So this is about a 20-minute dinner, which is super easy on a weeknight. You know, you can have your chicken already cooked and done, or not cooked, cut and done, and it's just ready to go. And all right, so we want to make sure all of the butter and stuff is off of this sauce. Turn your heat down just a touch. Once your sauce starts to get thick, we have to taste it, because how do you know if it is good if you don't taste it, if it has enough seasoning and whatnot in it? I teach my little chefs that we season everything that we are going to serve to whomever. So I will burn my mouth on this, I know. Amazeballs. So lemon, you get that slight little winey taste to it, which it's not really a winey taste. It's just, it gives it that extra little oomph of, I don't know. You get the saltiness of the capers and the garlicky yumminess to it. And you just see this brown butter sauce, and the lemon gives it a little tart. So you just want to spoon that over your chicken. And we want to make sure our chicken is cooked because nobody wants to serve uncooked chicken. So the best way to know if your chicken is cooked is to invest in a thermometer. And I work in a professional kitchen and I use thermometers all the time because no one wants to get sick and I don't want to get sued. But no one wants to eat undercooked meat. And I think that chicken and pork are two of the biggest things that people freak out about. And I think that like the biggest mistake that everyone makes is that they overcook both of those. So if you have, it doesn't need to be fancy, if you just have a thermometer a meat thermometer, this one's a little fancy, but you can put it in the oven, you can hook it up to your phone, and then you can walk away from it. My husband uses it on the grill. But really, like, you will know, like, to me, this seems like it's not cooked because I will touch this and you see this, how that is not cooked. This one, a little more. This one, not so much. So let's just see. This one probably needs another like 15 degrees. So this is at, damn, I'm good, 150. So chicken, to pull it out, needs to be at 165. And this is at 149. So I was off by one. And this one is almost done. So it's at one, it will beep for you. Do you see that? So you guys, if you have this, then you know that you're not overcooking it. And you can serve a nice chicken breast to your family without them thinking like, is this a hockey puck? What is this? And the way to cook the breast that's not cooked too much, we're already at 162. So what you would want to do is just take it and flip it a couple of times, let it cook over on this side and do that. So once we'll do that, but I think I hear my husband coming through the office because he knows what I'm cooking. So let's check our Zoodles. That's right. Look at this. Do you see this? Do you see this? All right. So they went from like straight, firm noodles, and now they're cooked looking Zoodles. And they're going to be salty. I mean, you could eat them just like that. You don't even need to put anything on them because they're seasoned already. And I bet your kids would eat those. My kid might eat that. She likes asparagus and broccoli though. So those are done. If you let them sit a little bit too long, they start to get a little too much liquid in them. So at that point, what you want to do is you take them and you're going to go like this. You're going to, do you see this? Do you see this, all this liquid coming out of there? So you want to squeeze all of that out, and then you can put them onto a paper towel. But I think we're at the point to where they're okay, and we don't need to do that. So I think we're ready to plate. So we have a pretty little plate here. And I like to use my hands. So we're just gonna make these nice and pretty, like that. And I think our chicken, well, we have one breast that's done. All right, so we can put one of these on here. And you do.
Sweet.
I told you he was coming out of his office. This is a favorite. So you just want to take your sauce and put that nice. Give it a good amount, because when I serve his, he gets, this is messy. I don't like messy. There.
That looks delicious.
We make it pretty.
Smells even better.
All right, so we need a fork, 2 forks.
Yes, please.
One for you. Sorry that you don't get any wine.
We'll share.
All right, I will give you the first bite.
Thank you.
There you go. Make sure you get some Zoodles with that.
I will.
Did I do good?
Excellent.
Oh, that's hot. You
See,
get the
that's why it's my
lemon.
favorite.
The chicken is tender. You get salty, sweet, tart. And the Zoodles, they don't really take the place of noodles. I'm not
they're
going
good.
to lie. They don't take the place of a noodle. But it's another way to get your kids or your husband to eat a vegetable.
Delicious.
Thanks, y'all. I like my butter with a little Chardonnay in it. To get the recipes from this episode, please go to the description area and please like and subscribe. Subscribe!